Hello, hello, hello. Anybody, somebody, nobody, whoever may never see this. This is Siegfried Alexander Faust, the Whiff. Come back at you with some Warhammer 40k. I'm thinking about putting out some Warhammer videos specifically and actually getting off my butt to update my Twitch and YouTube because I've had an amazing experience for the 2.5 months I started and then went really hard into playing Warhammer 40k on Tabletop Simulator. I'll do a quick shout out to couple YouTubers, Luton9 for their wonderful lore and soothe voice, and most of his videos, which are pretty cash money, pretty good, pretty interesting to listen to. Bricky is streamer, kind of funny, okay, but he had a two-part compilation of interest gaining videos for people getting into the Warhammer 40k universe, and I've been a long time fan. I've actually learned a lot of lore. I know some stuff that he hasn't mentioned as well, and I really appreciate the video he's made, and I love watching people's reactions of new fans actually being fully vested into the series after watching those videos. Pretty entertaining, pretty cool, and let's see a few others is Magikarp Used Fly, which I've actually spoken to a few occasions on Discord um, about a few things, and they made a video. The name is Matt for how to run 40k on TTS Tabletop Simulator on Steam, and it was a big help for me to get into it that way. I have played every faction, uh, every main faction, and I've probably played over 3/4 of all the armies in the games now, which I will soon show. Um, I play mostly the meta armies in regards to making them the best version they can be. So, regards to Ultramarines, what I think is the better version or current best version of Ultramarines, or something with partial bias that at least I can have fun with that is still hopefully good. So, most of my armies win. I have a well over 50% win rate. Um, I do have a couple meme lists that also do well, and win or lose, I try to have a good time. I tell my friends like, hey, if we're not having fun, then I'll just surrender to you because to me it's about having fun. Boy, I would also like to win and try out some cookie lists as well, some funny stuff. I want to make in the future, um, short like 15-minute, 10 to 15-minute videos covering the new best version of different armies, and I will take any requests for making a really good army or a certain or even if it's like for example uh there are some armies I have that are not as good as they could be, like my Harlequins, because I like them in the play style that I have, and they could debatably be more efficient at times. So I may not be losing efficiency, I could be gaining efficiency if my opponent brings more vehicles, but it also suits my play style to bring more Skyweavers, which are the fast attack option, instead of troops in their transports, which is the more meta option. But I can definitely help make people lists. I love theory crafting, war crafting armies for Warhammer 40k. And again, I am Wift, Tester714, Siegfried, Kevin, etc. Call me whatever. Um, yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to be making some more content in the future, but I'm just going to make a brief overview of all the armies I made because there's going to be an upcoming data slate update or FAQ that's going to change things up. I'm expecting the next couple days or week, and along with big changes because the new Tyrannid one, well, that's not as much of a big change. Big change for Tyranids from shooty Hive Guard spam into now Psychic spam, but the Knights change and the data slate change it's gonna rock Eldar and it's gonna mess possibly with Custodes, but the Knights is gonna be huge for all the Imperium factions to now be able to actually soup Knights. So the Eldar troop Harlequin soup is now gonna be for Knights in Imperium and Chaos. The only one that was really confirmed was Chaos, but it looks like it's gonna be Imperium as well. And that's gonna change a plethora of my lists. And so when I was going to originally start putting out videos and I was sitting on my butt, now I'm going to continue sitting on my butt until that change comes out, which may not be for several months, unfortunately. But I will try to cover the Xenos factions. And just do those videos first, since they don't have knights. So hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. So without further ado, let me just go a brief overview of my different armies I've made and played. I think I don't have. I've recreated the ones I've also had interest in. I made a plethora of Necrons because my favorite army is Necrons, but I don't think they're very good. I don't win much with them. And yeah, they're my favorite, but I don't know. I think the one I've won the most with would probably my second favorite is Guard, strangely. I think the one I won the most with was Custodes. Um, and possibly Harlequins, but I don't like the Harlequins. That's just more of a recent thing because they're busted. Custodes I liked before the big change. I liked them less after they added the martial katas, but yeah. Anyway, let's get to some of these examples. So I have a AdMech Outrider, Iron Strider Belisarius spam list, which is 3 groups of 5 units, um, and some just rangers and stuff to hold the line. This is really nasty because I gave them Twig Cogni las cannons. So if you go against an elite spam list or anything that has armor, like what I'll show soon is my Lehman Russ spam. Oh no! This is strength 9 shots, AP -3, damage D3 +3, 48-inch range, and if your opponent is half range, you're gonna get if you go the custom route, you're gonna get reroll hits. So if they're on dense, you're good. More so because these are, for some reason, Skitarii units, you can get them to have ballistic 2 up. And you can give them other bonuses as well. So they're not core, but you get a lot of nasty bonuses. So against like some armies, it doesn't matter. But ironically, this will kill like Blightlord Terminators, Death Shroud Terminators, even with their -1 damage. It'll just chunk right through them. All your shots pop into their invul, and then every damage that goes through is a kill. It's very nasty, and especially for the upcoming Knights list, you go first. You're gonna be dropping some big damage. Very nice. And then let's see. So this is an army that's risky, but it can get good output. This is a far more consistent army. I need to reevaluate the top 10 list. I had what top 10 list I made recently, but I didn't really want to give that info out because it doesn't feel very accurate with all the big changes that are coming up soon. The lists are going to change wildly, considering like there's Imperium, Chaos, and Xenos. That's the 3-way split, and Imperium Chaos are going to have full-on night spam. And then the huge change with the Harlequins, which made them just top of the meta. And then they're about to hopefully get nerfed because they're a bit too strong with the Void Weaver spam. It's more so not even just Void Weavers, it's everything. The Void Weavers and playing as the light faction. But this is anti-vehicle, going the Army of Renown Skitarii for AdMech, and this is definitely still top 10. People sleep on this. It is very, very good. You can make some minor alterations to versus how I have it, but this list is just nasty for the amount of damage it can pump out, situations it can handle, and you just have bodies, 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 and they're all troops. So OBSEC, very shooty. You have your frontline guard, which can fall back and shoot and stuff. So you should be able to win most trades with this. I don't, I don't know, because with the 5-up invul as well and a bunch of other bonuses, you should be doing really good. It'd be very unfortunate for this list to take a beating turn 1. You should control most of the field. The only way I see this list having a big issue is if there's a lot of obscuring. Do not let the blue fool you. This is Army of Renown, Phobos-based Black Templar. Why Black Templar? Well, ironically, while the Raven Guard get inherently like a lean in towards the Army of Renown Phobos / Reaver. Not Reaver. Is it Reaver? Whatever. Army of Renown benefits. The thing is you lose your doctrine tactic for Space Marines, whatever legion you choose. So you can still get some of their bonuses, but losing the doctrine tactic is kind of hard. But you still get your vows with Black Templar, so you can still purge the unclean, the alien, the Xenos, the Psyker, and so you can still get some more bonuses with them than you can for most other legions. which makes me feel like they are better. If you want to run that type of army, then you should do it with Black Templar. And honestly, I think Black Templar are awesome. Just how insane they are, and Zealotrous. But like, I don't want to run the army because, well, like Black Templars themselves, because I don't think they're that great. I think they're one of the cooler Space Marines though. Custodes. In the arms of an angel. Na, na, na. Hopefully Trajan doesn't disappear. He is a little overtuned. Okay, more than a little overtuned. But the army itself has been undertuned slightly. Um, and I think if you remove Trajan, they need a small buff. Very, very minor, but they would need something. But right now, people I feel like sleep on Galtuses. They're really good. They don't bracket. They got a lot of benefits, better benefits than the one of the other, the big one, the oh, I forget what the bloody dude's name is, but their big firing model. But Trajan was there was always a meme list you can make, which him acting as a tank commander almost as a double buffer, and he can basically buff the hit roll, reroll ones for hit and wound for these Galatuses, and so he just travels around with them along with these two Vexus Praetor, and then they just walk up the field getting -1 to hit, +1 to light cover. They can ignore light cover, and they get reroll hits and wounds of 1, and they hit on 2s anyway. And they have flamethrower swords, so it's just they're nutty. So the hits doesn't really affect them, but nonetheless. And then he technically got a little bit weaker, but he's still just so good. And something you might see as a recurring theme in most of my lists for Imperium is the Calidus Assassin. Oh my god. The 50-50 chance to make your opponent just lose extra CP constantly is insane. And the fact that you can get +1 CP locked in match play, but you can lose more than one, that's just so nutty. And she can possibly deep strike 4 inches away, ignore invul, deal mortal wounds, and she can keep this going for more than one turn. And her ability works from deep. You can just keep her in space. Doesn't matter. You're still using her ability. And there's nothing your opponent can do about it, and that's just dumb. The only interaction I think would be weird would be Nemesaur Zandrek from Necrons versus the Calidus Assassin's ability. This is one of the simplest armies to make that is really good. It actually beats, when I've matched them up, most of the time, this will beat the Custode army, which is Deathwing Knight, Deathwing Terminator spam. It only has 3 different types of models. These are, I don't count the Knightmaster, it's part of the group. This is just 3 groups of 10 Deathwing Knights in a Vanguard detachment with some Deathwing Apothecaries and 2 Interrogator Chaplains. This will give them Feel No Pains. This will give them bonuses to charge, extra hits, all kinds of stuff. And you could use a command squad of regular Deathwing Terminators instead of Knights. But then you're going to be hitting on 4-ups for your only melee option instead of 2-ups. Which is kind of oof. So this should hit way more often. If you change the list up to have it that way, that'll give you access to more points, which will realistically let you just run a 3-man Vanguard, a 3-man command squad on the side instead. But I don't think having that will justify not having this. So I think this is the better version. Hard to say though. They have storm shields, so they have 2-up saves with a floating +1. That doesn't count light cover. So AP -2 and below is a 2-up save for them. And they have, with Apothecaries, a 6-up Feel No Pain. And then once per round, you can res 1 as well. And they're going to get healed up whatever Apothecary is hanging around with them. So they're just so hard. And, oh, I forgot. The entire army has trans. So transhuman physiology, wound rolls 1 through 3 will not take effect. So that's one of the few things to counter that ridiculous railgun for the Tau right now on the Hammerhead models at slash long strike is they can hit you with a strength 5,000,000, 30,000 mortal wounds, AP minus 60. They roll a 2 or a 3, it just goes away, which is wonderful. They would have to command reroll their own roll and their own success into a better success because it will fail because of trains. So this is a very simple army. You just march up the board. It's very quick too, which is nice in this game that could take so long. Because am I in melee yet? No, then I don't care. You just march up the board, and then as soon as it's charge slash fight phase, your stuff starts to pop off, excluding the command phase things for interrogator, chaplain, and apothecary for movement. All right, and it's not the end of the Space Marines, but I have more coming up. Okay, so the Imperial Guard. This is a really silly army. So it's got 2 Tech Priest Engineers to help heal, 3 Armored Sentinels with Las to do that first turn, +2 to hit, hopefully. +2 does help when you fight current Harlequins, when you shoot at Airborne, or shoot at something in dense, because it will negate that -1, because otherwise there's that hard cap of -+1 for roll modification for when you're trying to attack. So that does help. And fun fact, it'll work if you throw. Did I not? Oh no, they do have HK, 100 killer missiles. That's not just for their regular weapons. So it'll affect their 100 killers as well. So turn 1, hopefully you'll pop the 100 killers and stuff. Hopefully blow up something big with them. And then that's the backline unit. This has 2. Where are you? 2 tank commanders, demolisher variants. And with the slow and purposeful tank ace, so they're going to give orders themselves, of course. So they're going to be having reroll hits and wounds of 1, and hopefully doing the big damage when you need it. Multi-melta, last cannons, 100 killers, heavy stubbers, woo woo, woo woo, heavy stubbers. But then the Lehman Russ Punisher with heavy flamers. This is a lie. They actually have 3 heavy flamers each. Because they get wounded, they get bracketed, and their ballistic skill, oh no, it's a 6-up, or it's I'm shooting something with dents and other bonuses. Oh no, my ballistic skill is a 6. Don't care, heavy flamer. And then if you're not moving far, don't care, Punisher. And because Punisher is in blast, you can also use that if you're stuck in melee, and since you're not moving, you're gonna get double your shots. So even if they're locked into melee, they have a 2-up save, T8, and they're firing 40 Punisher shots, which, especially right now, what's meta? Harlequins. And your stuff is auto-hitting, or you just drown them in shots. And since it's strength 5, it's going to be 4-ups anyway, which light has trans, so if you're not doing if you're doing better than strength 5, then it doesn't matter, so this is fine. AP against Harlequins doesn't matter, and so because you just want to hit their invul. So this actually trades with Harlequins. It's really weird. Pretty nutty indeed. No invul though, so Void Weaver's still spooky. But if you can go first, you can get some silly nonsense done on them. Or more so even, you just have to survive, hide your stuff, and go second. Because still 24-inch range, but you can do the bonus, so the range is 6 inches extra. So you'll have 30 inches, which will help counter their negative 6 inches if they run, was it Mirror of Minds or something? The other one, Mirror Architect for the Shadow Seer. And then my other Imperial Guard, which I really like this. This one is 2 patrols, I believe. Are you? No, a battalion and another battalion. With 2 Manticores with the tank ace. And the sweet, sweet Calidus. 3 tank commanders because oof. And then these are part of a 9th Laganus Gorgons, I think. I know I didn't pronounce that right, but basically, it's 2 things. One, the Scions that are all going to be deep. This entire section is deep, along with the Calidus, and they can get bonuses from Tempestor Primes, which give them Reroll hits and wounds of 1 to hit, and then 6s explode. These are all kitted with meltas, except for these 6 right here. Melta, 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 melta. And hopefully all this will help them fuck some stuff up, along with a stratagem to let one group, probably like this, or it could be this one, doesn't matter, go in at 5 inches away, so 5.1, which will make you half range for your Melta, so you will get the bonuses if you get the damage through. That's +2 flat each for each Melta. Army doesn't do so good, or at least I don't. My rolls don't for my Manticores. But damn it, I like them. The Manticores, of course, with Tank Ace, because that way you can shred stuff in your opponent's backline. If they have stuff in a building or behind obscuring, don't care, die. And it can really be a pain for some armies that aren't expecting the amount of damage you're going to bring, because if you have Tank Ace on them for full payload, boom, guaranteed 3 damage each time it goes through. Let's see, 3 more for Imperium. Imperium Knights. So I have a Castellan with 2 Wardens and then 3 Warglaves. Honestly, they're stronger right now than Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights have some nutty stuff, which are very cool. But the relics and bonuses for Imperium are just a bit stronger. Chaos can be stronger, but they rely on RNG to make up the difference, I feel like. And while they have some model differences between the two factions, Imperium and Chaos, overall, my personal subjective consensus with partial objectivity based on numbers is that the Imperium Knights just have better stuff, like Call's Wrath. Call's Wrath, so good. That along with Endless Fury, so good. And if you run that with another bonus, you can just like make your hits, deal mortals, explode, all kinds of other nonsense. Judgment here. Oh, you have so many strong options. You're running more biggies versus small guys, and this gives you your opponent the opportunity to run Titan Hunter, which is unfortunate. But I will maybe make a similar list. Supposedly, with all the bonuses the knights are getting, they're going to get more expensive. So maybe 2 of these are going to disappear, potentially. I would probably just still make the list exactly how it is. Just get rid of these 2. Because if their ballistics are going up along with their saves, I still feel like it's worth it. They're just so strong. But they're going to be... I'm going to be souping this stuff into Imperium lists. Probably not the Judgment model, but either Endless Fury or the Call's Wrath, depending if I need someone in the back line or front line, because Reaper Chainsword, lol. But we will see. We will see. And then there's Do Not Shirk, the was it Lightning Rod attack. It's only 12 inches, but 10 mortal wounds. That's nutty. Along with all these other bonuses, just they're gonna get crazy. So looking forward to that. Sisters, hey soul sister. I've not been able to unfortunately play this version of the army since I've redone it. I've constantly tweaked it. Once I get knights, yeah, like the Sacrosaints are leaving. But right now it's 3 retributers in a dominion into 2 rhinos. Pop in the some CP for the blessed shots for the dominions with their sacrosainted weapon. The artificer crafted stormbolters, mortal wounds, multi-melta up the butt. Oh, insane levels of multi-melta with some cherubs as well. A cherub on each squad. Some Sister Repentia to be annoying and give me more miracle dice. Canoness Palatine combo to basically increase strength, decrease opponent's toughness, and just go through invul and basically just be a character killer while buffing my army. Penitent engines, one of my friends who basically almost only plays sisters for the most part, I'd say 80% of our games are sisters or higher, did a combo, expensive but good combo, of strategic reserves, the penitents, bring them out, and then for 2 CP, you max their flamers, which they actually have 2 flamers each, which goes out to 48 strength 6 AP -1 shots. All auto hitting. And that is pretty nutty. So against anything T3, you're wounding on 2s. Not T3, wounding on 3s. Uh, and you could possibly get other bonuses for them. If you had, I think, Morven nearby. But I don't have Morven because she's expensive. But the list might get reworked to include her. Well, we'll see. The thing is, my new list probably won't include these because they are so CP hungry, and my list already brings me down to almost 0 CP after turn 1 to turn 2. Because of the amount of damage output I'm expecting to do. Then this is the only list out of all my lists in the game that has a fortification. This is insanely good. You stick Battle Sister in here, or Novitiate, or Priest, and they will just earn you a Miracle Dice every round. And more so, you can do other things with this. Because it's a ruin, and the bottom layer has no windows, you can stick them right there. Oh, it's going to ping the top. Anywho, and you will be True Line obscured. And you just sit there getting engaged or holding out to do R&D, or because tabletop is a bit more easygoing and not as perfect versus the actual game on IRL table, if your opponent doesn't care or it gets moved into your territory, you could have it on a objective. Again, that's not supposed to be how it is, but if everyone's chill, they're just going to sit there scoring a primary objective every turn while praying, and it's so many benefits, and so many benefits. And then Sacrosaints, they're crazy. They're all of storm equivalent almost of storm shields. The problem is that they have a 4-up invul, but they don't have the extra +1. But they hit decently hard for strength 6, AP -3. So they're gonna have plink damage, lots of little plinks going through, and they're 4-up invul. And if you go Valorous Heart like I am, and one of my buddies primarily played, then you're shrugging off AP -1 and -2 to -1. They're gonna still be getting light cover, and they're just gonna be so annoying to kill. And if your opponent is Psyker, again, you can even go anti-Psyker with this army, and that's not even running Pure of Will, which is really good, and some other null stuff. So you have a lot of options with sisters. They're squishy, which can be very frustrating, but at times I think they're actually too good in the amount of vectors they're able to cover. Like if you play sisters, one, besides being cool, there will never be a situation that you cannot at least meet. You may not win, but your opponent can bring whatever, and you should be able to, with this list, handle almost any situation. Possibly with an above average win rate. So Battle Sanctum, nutty. Oh, sisters love them. This is a bit of a meme army. So this is 2 Fire Raptor gunships. Very nice. I like them a lot. And my Super Land Raider. So this is a Land Raider Achilles. Nothing special about it. Until let me get the chaff out of the way. Speeder and poor little Mind Slave servitors. Rip. I declare Sergeant Kronos is special embarked in it. This now becomes a character with a non-stop ballistics 2-up, which will be getting a non-stop +1 to hit and healed for 3 wounds every round. And Tigurius, since it's a character, will be increasing it to toughness 9. And so Melta, all kind of Melta weapons are gonna wound on a 5-up. Like what? And he's gonna increase its strength technically in attacks as well, and give it -1 to be hit because of his bonuses. And then he can just turn off if he had a knight come at me with a 4-up invul. I just had Tigurius run up and turn off its invuls, null zone, boom. So if someone tries to run up on you, let's say like Mortarion or something, doesn't matter, invul's gone. That's just disgusting. This damage output is not as insane as I would like it to be. It's just a bit more of the meme that it just becomes so strong. And then you have one of the few remaining 3-up invuls units in the game, Victor's Honor Guard, who just, with the bodyguard rule specifically, and so they just roll around with an Primaris Apothecary each, which while they're alive, the apothecary can't be targeted. He's going to be healing and rezzing them as long as they're not full wiped. And you just sit on an objective. You just sit there and destroy them with these other things. And it's really ridiculous. And I love it. And it barely beat knights, but it shouldn't have. I got lucky. But this is a really fun ultramarine army. Yeah, I believe this is a Vanguard detachment. I believe. I don't think it's 2 detachments. Could be wrong. I will eventually post all the detachments I build as well when I cover them in their own little video segments. All right, now on to Chaos. That was the last of the Imperium. I did, as some people will notice, I did not do Iron Hands. I did not do Space Wolves. I didn't do Bloody Angels / Booty Angels. I didn't do Imperial Fists. I didn't do, and the list goes on and on. There are a lot, including custom. There's gonna be some I didn't do, like Emperor's Children, etc. for Chaos. That would just take so much extra, and I do want to make those armies, but I don't think those armies are unfortunately as good as I'd want them to be or entertain me as much. So I would not have as much fun. If I'm gonna charge ahead, like if I'm gonna do melee combat, I'd rather do Custodes or Deathwing spam. I feel like it's gonna do better than Blood Angels or Wolfen spam for Space Wolves, etc. Like these armies will outperform. And so if you have better options, why not just use the better option? That would just be personal taste or changing metas. But yeah, so I do want to make those armies. I just haven't got around to it yet. Okay. Demons. So, okay, real quick. So Bellacor's model is so bloody cool. Like, I think he's possibly my favorite Chaos Demon model, exclusion for Mortarion. I think the 2 Demon Primarch models and Be'lakor are all like tied for number 1. It's hard for me. Be'lakor might still beat them. I think his model is really cool. He's a little lackluster though, unfortunately. Thankfully, not 18 wounds, so you can still benefit from obscuring. But I don't think he has many good army options. I think it's a little hard. I just have screamers, nurgling, spam, some flamers, 2 contorted epitomes, and some corn artillery, because why not? This is more of a fun army. Something of note though for the Chaos Undivided Demon faction of Be'lakor, if you run his AOR, is that for some bloody reason they're gonna allow a single Tritorus Night House to be souped in for the upcoming Chaos Knights. So I will definitely change this list to make use of the upcoming Knight potential. So many lists could benefit from Knights in some way if you want to make them just a bit more lethal or efficient, I should say. Because what is meta is just efficient / popular, usually because of efficiency. And so we'll just see how that happens. Okay. Knights. This is a Knight Desecrator because he has Taskmaster. He can boost all these War Dogs, which usually run away from him and then don't get the boost. But I do think it's funny. You either build usually a list with one big guy and a bunch of little guys, or a bunch of big guys, aka 2 or 3, and a couple little guys for Knights. This list works. I've won with it. I've lost with it. I don't think it handles situations as good as the Imperial Knights one. But thankfully, because there's more models, there's more chances for either this guy to soak all of the big attacks, and then everyone else is able to be basically unharmed. It could just go either way. I think this one has better lore potential. If you wanted to custom build this and then kind of like do a custom house with their own lore than the Imperial Knights one. But I feel like the traders need just a little bit more, at least for relics. The warlord traits are basically copy paste between the 2 factions. But the relics for Imperium are just a tad better, enough for me to like call it out. But yeah, or it doesn't even have to be relics. Like the relics for the Imperium can stay better because this is like elite spam versus infantry spam, etc. Vehicles. If things are unbalanced, that's fine. Just bring in balance in another way. Like if everything had the same stat line across the board, then there wouldn't be uniqueness. So Imperium better relics fine, but then this needs to have enough counterbalance in a different way to make them relevant. Let's see. Nurgle, Nurgle, Nurgle. Nurgle. So with the infantry changes, I was never even big into their infantry. Well, I respect them, especially the Death Shroud champions. My God, Death Shroud Terminators. Just right now, being able to run 3 floated boat drones with a guy that buffs them all, Plague Burst Crawlers, and a bunch of Mephitic Blight Haulers. Oh my God, everything's reducing damage, minusing to hit, has an invul, explosion to non-Nurgle only, can attack in combat, a bunch of melta capability, or getting like 12 attacks each with the flesh mowers here. Like, oh, it's nasty. It's still good. The list can encounter issues. If your opponent is melta spam, they can punch through this, or super anti-vehicle. But this list is just really simple. Again, 4 different models. That's it. If you take out the HQ, it's 3 for the most part. And it's a very simple list to run. Very simple. You move up the board. You try to go a bit further with the bloat drones to get in your opponent's face. And you don't really care what you necessarily lose because you're going to be getting damage output. You're pretty tanky. It's a good mix between the absurd tankiness, but melee only, of Deathwing for Imperium, and the little bit lesser but range inclusion of the Custodes. I'd say it's just a little bit less tanky than this, but has far more range potential because of all the meltas. Because, let's see, these Blight Haulers, each one has a multi-melta. So that's 2, 4, 6, 18 multi-meltas, so shots, so basically 18 meltas. And then you could do crack missiles as well, which are almost basically meltas, so I'm just going to include them anyway. So it's 18 is now gone to 27 meltas. And that's just with the Mephitic Blight Haulers. And that they still have a Blight Spur if people get in range. And then you have your Plague Burst Crawlers with the double entropy cannon and then the Plague Burst Mortar. So you just have a lot of range potential and melee potential with these guys as well, between their Gnashing Maws and then being able to also fire into melee. Just so good. Corn. Yeah, so some of these demon lists have an issue where their stratagems kind of suck, and you usually end up HQ spamming, and I think that's just the better route to go for most of these armies for the demons. So I just do Wrath of Corn Berserker, Wrath of Corn Bloodthirsters, 3 of those, and 3 of the Demon Princes, and just a bunch of Bloodletters, and I don't really care if the Bloodletters die. The weakness I had with this is I actually fought a Skitarii AOR. Someone borrowed my army and then didn't play it really well, but they still just melted me, and I knew if they played it better, I would have had no chance. None. Because these guys, oh, I deal 3 wounds here, 6 wounds here. Yeah, okay, my stuff is 1 wound models. Like they don't care. And they hit harder than Slanesh, but they don't hit as many times as Slanesh. So it's just, if your opponent's not running Space Marines and stuff, then it's not so bueno. But it is fun. Again, 3 model army, Bloodletters, Demon Princes, Wrath of Corn Bloodthirsters. Only because they're one of your Bloodthirster options has the weapon skill go down. What? Oh, what? Uh, yeah. Again, if they get into melee, they're pretty nasty, but they'll either overkill weak stuff, or sometimes you just have really bad RNG and still whiff. Nurgle, as soon as I unlag. Nurgle demons. Spoiler, I love Beast and Nurgle, but I have mixed feelings on this model. The Horticus Slimix. So what's realistically gonna happen is I'm probably gonna dump these. Woo. Maybe MADMEN transfigured because he's a bloody monster. And just put in a knight, a thick knight boy, and then increase my nurglings if possible to 5 each, or between 5 and 9, just to make it so they can sit on an objective and basically control it uncontested. Because nurglings have a nice strat where you basically res a bunch for 1 CP. So if your opponent has killed many of them, then they kind of get a Necron res. But you know, if they kill them a little bit at a time where you don't have many to begin with, it's kind of a waste. I like the Beast and Nurgle almost better than the Plague Drones. Plague Drones go twice as fast. So even though the Beasts have 1 extra wound each, the Plague Drones have guaranteed 1 attack each plus 4. The Beasts have a D6, so it's kind of random. The Plague Drones just overall have more options. The Beast of Nurgle has a anti-fallback, but it's not relevant enough. If your opponent wants to get stuck in, then yeah, it's just it's better to have the Plague Drones. Plague Drones also have a Mortal Wound Explosion stratagem available for them. And then I have a Thick Boy, because if you can give just heals on your Great Unclean one, making him T8 while giving him just Revolting and Resilient on a 4-up, along with the reroll for 2 CP, reroll 1s, effectively you think a 3-up invul bad or a 4-up invul bad. Let me introduce you to effectively a 3-up Feel No Pain. Oh, 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 that is, I guarantee it is worse. Slanesh, because who don't like some titty demons? Yeah, you know, you want a dick, you want a vagina, both, neither, we got the hookup. I actually think the demonettes, as long as they're getting a buff or 2 from like the mask and stuff, is not bad. They can do good work in a thick blob, more than the bloodletters. Kind of odd. But the keeper's secrets, I think, are also overall, they just are not to be underestimated. I feel like, are a bigger threat than the Khorne bloodthirsters as well, because some of most of their key stats don't go down. They lose the attack. They will go down in attack, but because they still have psychic and other things, and even in melee range attack option with Living Whip, I think they bring more to the table overall. This I'm gonna have to analyze. I may not even soup with knights. This would be a hard sell. I could get rid of Shalaxi. Like, if I was to soup with knights, I'd probably get rid of Shalaxi, keep the 3 keeper secrets, and then get rid of most of these demonettes to make room for the points for the knight. And I think that would end up being a better list. But this one can maybe get by honestly without a knight. It's surprisingly decent. There is a 6-up Feel No Pain option you can get instead of the Living Whip, and I got lucky and I got a lot of 6s when I ran this last time. But statistically, I think it is better to run the Living Whip. Player's choice in the end. I only have 3 more Chaos, and then I'm on to the Xenos, which I have more than I thought. Oh my god, this army. Oh my god, this army. So I love the Khorne Berserkers, because the last time I played them with a buddy, I'm like, okay, my 10-man squad is basically going to hit you for 100 attacks. And he's like, excuse me? I'm like, I didn't stutter. I'm going to hit you for 50, and then I'm going to do it again. Another one. Do it again. And yeah, if you charge them, and your world eaters, and you're using chainsword, you're gonna be doing 100 attacks. 50 and then another 50 because they could fight twice. And if you charge them, you get fight first priority, which will stack with the fighting again. It is a separate fight as well. And you can give them other bonuses. And basically, 10-man in a drop pod, 10-man in a drop pod, and then I think Yeah, 10-man in a rhino, and then one 10-man is not in a rhino. The rhino, unfortunately, is expensive chaff. This is gonna what's gonna be sitting your black line, back line, just holding an objective, and if your opponent wants to shoot at it, fine. It's better they shoot that than anything else. And at the very end, it's just gonna be holding you backline objective for you. I wish there was a better option. I could have sworn I changed this in some way. Huh. Oh, you know what I think it was? I think these two guys are in here. They're in this rhino. Yeah, because I want to hold the backline with the Leviathan Dreadnoughts. I have an addiction for Chaos Leviathan Dreadnoughts. They're so good. Yeah, these guys are in this rhino, and it just charges up as well. And then a Lord Discordant, because why not? But ironically, these aren't the highlight of the army. It's literally the Corn Berserkers, and they have so many attacks they'll punch through Harlequins if they can get into melee. If that's big if. However, keynote 1 wound models T4, uh, weapon skill 3, which kind of makes sense, but I still think they should have something else, like a feel no pain. If they dealt damage, should have a feel no pain or something. It's just they're a bit too squished for my liking. They're crazy. They're angry. I get it. Boy, it's a real toss up. Uh, and then yeah, so Zinch demons again. HQ spam. This is special. I'll talk to him. It's a special summon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Because pink horrors are funny. I think it's funny. You're gonna spend CP to deep strike these, so you're just gonna basically plop them in front of your opponent, and then they're just gonna sit there possibly for the rest of the game because whatever your opponent throws at them, I lose a pink horror, I get 2 blues. I lose 2 blues, that's fine. You attacks my another pink horror, fine. I get 2 blues. And so he just has to go through so many wounds just to get this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pink horrors. So that's 5 and 10. So 15 wounds before I have to actually start going through my majority of pink horrors. And as soon as you deep strike them, you will get the 20 model boost because iridescents count as pinks for their extra attacks. So all their assault weapons, which is assault 2, becomes assault 3. So this is effectively 60 shots you're throwing. But they're strength 3, ballistic skill 4 up. It's kind of honestly trash. But it's to distract your opponent and just to sit on something. Some mortal wounds with screamers. This could sit in the back line with the flamers because 4 up invul. And then the bird magicians, your lords of change. You gotta love that juicy 30-inch smite. Just blasting people from 30 inches away. Decent, very decent psychic options available. Of course, some are a bit better than others. And then Kairos for extra CP. And then when you bibbity bop somebody, a character, and you kill them, you get a free Chaos Spawn. There's like only 3 to 5 armies in the game that can do this. This, Tyranids, and one more. And so you could just and Nurgle demons. They have the option to do something like this, and so you have the option to get free Chaos Spawn units just brought into game, without paying reinforcement reserve points. And then lastly, Thousand Suns. Now I haven't played this modified version of the list yet. It is very nice. So it's 2 Terminator groups with Soul Reapers and the it doesn't list it. The Hellfire Missile Rack on the heavy weapon guys. And basically every turn you're gonna be buffing one of these up to all hell with all these buffs. The Mutilated Vortex Beast, fun fact, it's shooting psychic and it's not psychic, so its vortex powers cannot be denied. It's not gonna get away in the way of your other stuff, and it heals. So you can charge this thing up into the melee. It's fine. And it gives you options depending on what your opponent's bringing. I had 2. but even 2 was kind of overkill. You only really need 1 if you want it. But again, you'll notice the sweet, the luscious, the Chaos Leviathan Dreadnoughts. This list, I may realistically get rid of 1 Terminator and the Vortex Beast for a Knight. But this list is still good as is, top 10. And you only need the 3 sorcerers. This is going to cap at 9 Cabal points. But that's a perfect number to get for Cult of Magic, the extra range on your Astral Blast, or as some may abbreviate to Ass Blast, for when you Ass Blast your opponent, and the extra mortals for your other Cabal. This gets you exactly where you need to be. It gives you some other options as well for blasting away Cabal points for a better chance that your Psychic powers firing off. And the Leviathans, again, they're just so good. A change I made is I gave them heavy flamers instead of so they have 2 of all these things. They have 2 heavy flamers, 2 Graflux bombards each, and then 1 Hellforge HK. But like the Volkites, I never got 6s with them. And then this way, these guys can sit in your backline, and if your opponent has anything to charge them, you got heavy flamers. And if they're wounded and they're bracketed, it doesn't matter. You'll at least have that like insurance in the back of your mind that you will get some heavy flamer, hopefully to help you out. I think Volkite is the better option. I just don't get good rolls. So it broke me. I'm on heavy flamer duty until they give me better rolls. All right. Now to the last part, the Xenos. Clear my throat real quick. All right. Actually, I'm gonna get a drink of Gatorade. So again, the Eldar are about to get some big changes. Honestly, for the 3 Eldari factions, you need to be souping with the troop, the traveling troop of Harlequins with light. Just so good, so good. This is supposed to have Void Weavers in it. I don't remember why they're not, but for Ulthway Craft World, better Psychic. Honestly, Ulthway, like most of the Craft Worlds, they don't like, wow, amazing, oh my god, that's so fucking good. Like, it doesn't happen for me. They have one thing that was slightly nerfed, but you can still do it, which is Mind War. Where are you? There it is, Mind War. Which some of these psychic powers, which can deal a lot of more wounds, have a cap now on like 3 or 6 or even 8. Mind War does not. This has the potential to basically kill a tank commander, because a tank commander has a leadership of 7. It's an HQ character with 7 leadership. You're gonna pump your Farseer to be about like 12 or 13 leadership, and then you're gonna give that guy -2, I believe. And so then after that, you roll a dice. And so if he's at 5 and he rolls a 1, that's 6. You're at, say, 12 and you roll a 6, that's 18. You now have 12 more leadership than he does. He takes 12 mortal wounds. Tank commanders, 12 wounds. He dies to a single psychic power. And half the shit that's changing the leadership is passive AoE auras. Like, and the other half is psychic powers that you get bonuses to cast. So it's probably going to happen. So you could just also, this doesn't it's not hindered by closest target. And unless I'm mistaken, yeah, within 18 inches. You don't even need bloody line of sight. They could be obscuring, don't care, die. You just explode their brain. That is a true smite. It is glorious. So some of the things that are doing that are the Hemlock Wraith Fighters, which are giving a passive AoE debuff to leadership. You got some other tankiness and options, but this list is going to get a lot of changes, and it's actually not properly yellow scribed because of an issue with yellow scribe in BTS right now. But yeah, once the Harlequin changes come up, all my Xenos factions, which I won't have to worry about the Knights, are going to get their videos done, and I'm going to be doing those factions first. Um, well, I said spoiler. Necrons are my favorite army. My least favorite is Gene Stealers. I'm not there yet, even, but like, I don't know. They needed the nerf to the pure strain because that was overtuned, but I don't. I'm glad they kept their ambush, but the new extra like bonuses to ballistics when you're in the way of your own shots, crossfire system. I don't think it's that great. um, they have like the rock grinder is probably one of the better transports. I think it's maybe top 3 transports. It's not even a dedicated. It's a heavy. It's so good though for its point cost. Like it's very efficient. Now my current nids, uh, I don't recall because it's been a hot minute because my friends didn't like playing it, and I don't blame them. I don't remember if this is Kraken or Kronos or what for the extra shooting, but yeah, these guys just sit in the back. They get the bioweapon bonds from Tyranid warriors. So my Hive Guard Impalers go from ballistic skill 3 to +1, so 2 up. And if they don't move, they get reroll 1. So hit on 2s, reroll 1s. For a strength 8 weapon, -2 AP only D3. They shoot twice each, and they they ignore line of sight, and they don't. Your opponent doesn't get light cover. So this will pop a lot of invols, or this will make a lot of stuff save on 4-ups or higher if you're lucky. And you can give Symbiote Storm to 1 to have it have exploding 6s, and then you pay a stratagem to have them shoot again. So this literally just castles in a corner of the map. It's super hella dumb. Your Exocrines as well. Well, I gave them the bonuses for the current, well, it's not current anymore, uh, Progeny of the Hive, to give them mortal wounds after they deal damage to something. They'll deal extra. And then Dimicarion, because big spooky monster. Hopefully draw a lot of fire, soak shots, and if it can actually get into melee, then it can do some stuff. But if it doesn't, that's fine. Just don't touch my Hive Guard. And yeah, then you just turn 2, more so turn 3 up. You start moving forward with the Tyranid warriors, and you should outscore your opponent. And mortal wounds, because why not with the Neurothropes. This is back when they also had a 3-up invul. Now they're 4-up. I agree with that change, because they're pretty damn good. The current NIDs, now this isn't yellow scribed, or is it battle scribed, because they're not up to date yet. But I am a greedy leech who benefits from others, and I'm very much appreciative. But yes, that is why they are not up to date. I think this is how the army's going to look. This might be a Hive Tyrant instead, and then I'll just get some chaff, an Endless Horde Swarm, so I can use a stratagem to help them, kind of like the Nurglings, just hold a point. The entire army, except for 1 to 2 units, though, will be Synapse, with Leviathan, which gives them Trans. So Transhuman for the entire army, and they will do more psychic damage, on average, I've already checked, way more than Thousand Suns. This is hella dumb for the amount of psychic mortal wounds they're going to deal, especially the Zoanthropes. This is stupid. Being able to bring just 3 and getting a bonus 3 mortal wounds plus 3 to cast because of each model in the unit, and since they're infantry fly, they can just hide behind stuff, behind obscuring, pop out, and just blast crap. So you're just going to be dealing nutty amounts of mortals. Very good. I think they should be a bit more expensive, honestly. Just specifically the Zoanthropes. Maleceptors are going to be good. Exocrines are good. And the shooting thing is, because they got better, and the whole shooting faction, be it, I forget, apologies if it's Kraken or Kronos, they just got extra range. Instead of reroll hits of 1, they just got extra range. And so the Exocrines are just better to take by themselves now because of the changes they got coming. Yeah, they're going to just be great, and you just stick them on this army. They're not going to have Synapse, so it's fine. But if your opponent kills them, cool. They are leaving all your mortal wound dealing stuff alive. Guaranteed better. Good trade. All right. The Drukhari. They also have 2 planes, but these planes are much better planes. So these are Cult of Witch. They're witch cult planes. They're not going to be the Coven or Covenant, I should say, whatever. Just because of the single stratagem of oh god, strafing strike or something, or quick strike. I don't know. It's something 1 CP for this thing, and you're basically dealing a mortal wound on a 4-up against infantry, non-characters, characters is 5-up, per model in that unit. Necrons. And a few other armies, horde swarms. Oh no. This is possibly 20, 10, 20, or 30, depending on the swarm size of your units, mortal wounds in the movement phase. This isn't an attack, Necron players. This makes me very upset. You don't get your reanimation from this. And these are gonna just be mortals. There is no Necron save for this. Get fucked. They will do this for 1 CP every round. They could potentially deal 20 mortal wounds. There's also no cap on that stratagem right now. One of the stratagems that could deal no cap of mortals, so it could deal potentially 30 mortal wounds in movement phase for 1 CP. Potentially. Doesn't mean it will. 50, law of average, it'd be 15 on a horde, and that could be 5 for 10-man squad, which 10-man squads would have, like, my Deathwing over here. Okay, so 5, that's not even 2 knights. I heal 1 and res the other. There, it's literally no damage. It's useless. But against some things, it's disgusting. And Void Weaver spam because Harlequin's overtuned. Harlequins. Number 1 of the meta, light, overtuned. I will stop and say that my army is a bit different in the sense that I only have the 1 Death Jester to do auto 6s, extra shots, guaranteed. And I'm running Skyweavers. The more meta list is not Skyweavers, it's more of the actual Starweaver boats with juiced up players inside to do good damage. It's not my playstyle. I like to rush in, and if I lose to Skyweavers, oh no. And turn 1, being able to kill 1 big vehicle almost guaranteed is really nice. Or get heavy damage in. Hell, with knights, if you don't want to deal with knights, then you can even modify this list to have more Skyweavers, especially if they nerf the Void Weavers. That's what I might do. I might just run more Skyweavers again. It's going to be iffy, because supposedly when the balance things might happen, unconfirmed, is they might reduce the amount of transports you take. Because if they don't do that, if they don't reduce the transports, honestly, screw Void Weavers. Like, maybe have 1 group of 3. Like, maybe. And then, I don't even know if I want, like, Skyweavers even. Just, Starweavers with troops in them. And that, it'll work. Trust me, it'll work. Because, unlike all the other stuff in your army, Shadow Seer is going to give -1 to wound for your troops as well. And it's just going to be so stupidly nutty. Oh my god. It's going to be so hella dumb. But yeah, to be determined. But yeah, this list, since I fixed it, hasn't lost. And I started playing less stupid. Still a little stupid. Yeah, the other day I just charged in my solitaire and he died to Overwatch. It was pretty funny. Gene Stealer Cult. Pure Strain Gene Stealers. I think this is Twisted Helix. Not 100%. It's either that or Cog. I'm pretty sure it's Twisted Helix because they gave +1 strength, I think, and stuff. Gene Stealer Pure Strain was a bit too strong because you bring them. They're better than actual Gene Stealers by a huge margin. And so they reduced it by half for how many you could take. The Jackal combos can be okay with the Ridge Runners, but they're honestly not that great. Those bastards, those monsters at GW, they took the Rock Cutter. I think it's the Rock Cutter or the Rock Saw. That thing was such a meme. It was one of the few weapons that still had delete in Warhammer 40k. So if you, let's say your opponent has the Nightbringer, it's at 6 wounds, or it's at 6 wounds. It took 2. You attack him with a spicy acolyte boy. He deals 1 wound to it, or actually no, it's at 7. Yes, right? No, no, it's at 8. Yeah, yeah, it's at 8, right? No, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it has the possibility of just deleting something. So it's at, say, 6 wounds. You deal a single wound with the Acolyte, 13-point model or some crap. You then roll dice. If you roll a 6, and the dice you roll is higher than the wounds remaining on your opponent's model, it instantly dies. That will supersede the Nightbringer rules for Catan. You just delete Catan. You could just delete Rebute Gilliman. You could just delete Mortarion. Like, one spicy Acolyte boy just runs up and finds an injured Primarch and just deletes his ass. Like, straight up deletes him. Like, what the hell? That's just so good. Of course, the Goliath Rock Grinder. Oh my god, Goliath Rock Grinder. This thing is a beast for its point cost. It doesn't seem that amazing, but it has a 6-up Feel No Pain built in. It can transport. It has decent damage. T7 saves on 3-ups naturally anyway. So against Stormbolter fire, you're on 3-ups. Ew. And unless I'm mistaken, I think I am. I think these things do bracket. It's just not coded correctly. Yeah, they're just so good. They're the actual heart of the army, just to get your stuff where it needs to go. Um, Ambush is cool. I think it's like the idea is really cool. If you want to play like insurrectionist terrorists, zealotry, it's a cool faction if you want to go that route. But it just doesn't interest me personally. I don't think like I don't know. It just doesn't wow me, unfortunately. Billy the Kid though, where's Billy the Kid? Yeah, the Keller Morph. Billy the Kid. He's cool, especially when you trick him out a little. Uh, all his little pistol shots. He could be a character killer. I honestly just more so like his model. Let me because he's got more than 2 hands. He's got another one just loaded out with his pistols. All kinds of shenanigans. Howdy, partner. All right. Okay, I have 2 swarm lists, kinda. Necron, Silver Tide, with the one and only Canoptic Reanimators included. These are bad, except for this instance. Your opponent will shoot them instead of these things, and if they don't shoot them, oh my god, your Necrons are even more unkillable. They're gonna have a hard day dealing with the upcoming Tyranids. Poor times for Necrons. But with Night Orb of Eternity and all the other bonuses going on, you got Hand of Pharaon on your Overlord, so I have 2 Lords here. So basically, you're giving one group +1 to hit and reroll ones, and I have 2, I think Reaper squads, or no, 2 Flare squads. Yeah, 2 Flare squads, and all the rest are Reapers. So it's the Flare squads that are getting the buff usually, and the thing is you may not win the battle, but you should win the war. And it's not very fun for me because you give them the custom dynasty for double OPSEC. All of these Necrons count as twice as many. Yeah, you just park them on an objective and it's probably going to be yours. It doesn't matter if you're not winning a single fight and you're losing all your shit, you're probably going to win the game. It's other armies can do this but better. This is just a different way because it's resin and it can do damage. It's just not very efficient for damage, but the survival efficiency is insane. It's really dumb because of the objectives. And you can do a bunch of secondary stuff for like just doing actions, and you just don't shoot. You literally don't fight. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to you. The Orc Swarm. Snake bites, of course. Beast snag a spam. So you can get partial trans, 6-up invul, extra damage against vehicles. And you gotta love that DACA jet with more DACA and super shooters. And the Megatrack scrap jets specifically because of their extra mortals, and they can just run up and be annoying to your opponent. Maybe kill something first turn if you're lucky. More so second turn, also if you're lucky. And the Beast Boss and Squigosaur because he's a chonker. He has some pain boys to give also a 6-up feel no pain to all these bloody orcs, and some weird boys to pump him up and do psychic stuff. I actually don't run to jump. I'm terrible orc. I don't run to jump. The jump is funny, but it's just not for me, I think. Pretty sure I don't run to jump. Oh, look, the jump. I lied. I think I left that in there because he's my action boy. The army, it's good. It can win. Funny trade-offs. Because people don't really expect this, and they're tankier than you'd think. But they're also still 1 wound. So not tanky enough, necessarily. But, you know, if they get into melee, they should be cracking skulls. As orcs do. I'm gonna jump all over the place. My actual Necron list. Catacomb Command Barge, Strunk. Got a Canoptic Doomstalker sit in the backline. Triarch Stalker to boost the shooting of other things, and so it could just sit back somewhere as well. And this is actually more so to be a distraction because, unless I'm mistaken, yeah, it has quantum shielding, so it has trans, and you can boost its invul if people aren't able to target command barge. To target this, you spend CP. This could be, it's more so honestly a distraction card effect. It just sits there and tanks shots, hopefully. Hopefully bothering your opponent, but not actually being a huge threat for this army style. Scarabs, they frontline. It's more so the damage is the Scorpic Destroyers and the Nightbringer. But if it could just sit there and you can control half the battlefield, you will win through points via attrition. And you got some other mortals flying out and buffs between the Plasmancer and the Technomancer, because he has, of course, the Canoptic Control Node, which will buff all your Scarab Swarms and your lovely, lovely Crypto Thralls. When I didn't understand what the rule of 3 was when I first started playing Warhammer and list building, I was like, oh man, these dudes are amazing. I'm going to just take like a million Crypto Thralls. Like, why would I even bring anything else? Like, screw that. This is my army. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that because that would have huge gameplay issues. But they are very good with a single Technomancer boy buffing them. And Nightbringer. Unfortunately, last time I played him, my opponent did some really good plays and actually one-shot him in 1 turn. They took him out across 4 different phases, 4 or 5, because they were able to do mortal wounds via command phase. Didn't expect that one. Alright, 3 left. My actual orcs. Kill rigs, very good. Slightly overtuned because they're characters. So they benefit from WoW. Like, what? These things can advance and charge? The hell? And they have decent psychic as well. If you have another psyker or 2, you can just super boost your beast boss, giving him like tanks or attacks or some crap. It's just like Warpath, Mork and Gork stuff. It's just so dumb. I like the Garrote Mega Tank, and it's this is a lie. It's 7 custom Mega Blasters. Is it good? To be determined, but damn it, I like it. Yeah. And then the Beast Boys, Scrapjet, and Docketjet don't need explanation. 1 mech to kind of heal them up, 2 mechs to heal them up with Grotto Oilers and stuff, and a Pain Boy. Who, unless I'm mistaken, Pain Boy can heal. No, Biker, that's right, not Cavalry, because your Beast Boss's Quicksort is Cavalry. But what was I gonna say? Oh, and then unlike the snake bites, this is actually Goth to hopefully get more crumping in when you get stuck in with the melee. The last 2. This is Tau before the upcoming change. This is a dirty Tau list because for several reasons. 1, I bring 1 Punch Man with Onager Gauntlet. 2, I have 3 Hammerhead Gunships, a little toxic. And then, unfortunately, all my Crisis suits have Tau Flamers because I love the Tau Flamers because I can not worry about marker lights. I don't have to worry about hitting. And they're D6 plus 2 for each weapon. So this is like almost 200 shots of Flamer. Like, what? With extra AP and bonuses because of stuff I'll do are United in Devastation, aura and stuff. Like, ew. Um, and so my measly marker lights are just for my gunship and other stuff, like my Cold Star with plasma rifles if he has to shoot into something with dents. And yeah, if my opponent wants to kill my drones, cool. That's fine with me. So it's this list gets me results. It's not as meta as doing them all hybridized or giving them fusion blaster spam. That is better, but mine won't miss. End of the day, they don't miss. The one thing that they have a huge issue for is this is 12 inches. Now I think there's an option to increase the range for the custom, but I haven't looked at it in a minute. But against Harlequins, where they increase the range back on you, if I'm wrong about that increased range, then you're having problems, Chief, because you deep 9 near 6 out, none of your stuff's in range. So yeah, you're just fucked with my version of this list. But anything besides Harlequins, oh my god, the amount of fire coming their way. And it's strength 4 against the Deathwing, where they have trans against 5 up. Like, you don't care. And, between all the storm shields and other shit that just has a bunch of save or reduces your AP, so they end up having a 2 or 3 up save. Most stuff, like Sisters, are going to have a 2 up save against most things in the game. With Sacrosaints for Valor's Heart on light cover. Hell, you're just drowning them in literal fire. Like, they will die from all the bloody flames you're spitting their way. Like, the amount of shots. Like, I can't just keep talking about it. Hold on. Like, to give an example, because I've gotten some gruff for this list, and I will defend my list right here, right now. Okay, so each of the shots gets a +2, right? So that's one Tau model. Okay, this is one squad. They're extra shots, right? And then it's a D6 for each weapon. Okay. So this is 61. I felt like I did that wrong for some reason. 61 plus 30. So that's 90. And this is all from one unit. This is just 5 guys. So you're averaging 90 to 100. Or closer, probably closer to 75. But add that up, you're going to be getting between 200 to leaning 250 to 300 on a really good roll. Flamer shots. All auto hitting. None of it missing. Like, what is that? That's stupid. You should punch through most toughness and saves just from the sheer amount of shots you're going to do. And then again, strength 4. Well, guess what? I have something to boost that as well. To strength 5. So it's against anything that's T8, like all the upcoming knights and stuff. Well, now you're going to be wounding on 5-ups. So that's going to double the amount of wounds you were doing beforehand. And so a lot of juicy stuff in that variant of the list. But the one that's the 2 is that should be more considered, honestly, is Fusion Blaster or hybridization with Ethereal as well to give them boosted stuff. And if they limit it to only one of these, then I didn't have it yellow scribed yet, but one of my lists is definitely with Ethereal and other bonuses just to super boost them because they're core. And then with Fusion Blasters, so then that one group will just be destroying something every round. And my last Tau list is the infamous 3 Storm Surge. Come at me, bro. With 4 Hammerheads because Laugh and Long Strike, Tau Sept. And so 4 goddamn bloody railgun models. And then all the Storm Surges with their spooky weapons. I actually didn't have... They're not equipped with their like flat 12 damage weapon or whatever because I don't really think highly of it. I think compared to most lists, and it could just be the the niche group I'm in. I haven't expanded my thoughts really to fight other armies, but I have a lot of different armies I've played, which is over half of these. I feel like that 12 wounds is wasted. Um, like it, the amount of situations where the other gun, I can't tell you what it is off the top of my head. The other weapon that the Storm Surge has as an option, is just, I think it gets more done. So yeah. But yeah, these are all the armies I have. If people have questions, feel free to ask me. I'll send you my list from Battlescribe. But as I said, there are changes being made over time by me. There's changes being made by GW, and yeah, they're gonna continue to evolve. Hopefully, get better, more meta, more efficient, more fun. None of these are necessarily Crusade. I would love to Crusade with Necrons, but the Crusade does not lean towards them. It's more so for Space Marines, for crusading correctly. And on a quick note, anyone that plays retributers in a Crusade game, shame on you. Shame on you. These things in Crusade, like, I need to go off topic, are fucking disgusting because all of their meltas, which basically over double all the upgrades you could do for the unit, will over double in cost. The power level doesn't change. So effectively, this is all these armies. I didn't say they're 2,000 points. They're all strike force based. A funny meme 500-point army. Here's a 500-point army. Single despoiler. Effectively, as memey as this is, you could bring. Oh, sorry, Battle Sanctum. I understand if you're mad. Just all of these. And then get out of here. A Canoness and a Palatine. And now all your girls. And then you play the faction with the advance in charge. No, advance and shoot normal. Because they're heavy weapons. So now all these girls can advance. They won't get the penalty. They're all hitting on 3-ups. Like a Space Marine. But with fucking multi-meltas. Unlike Space Marines. Like, name me cheap spam Space Marines with multi-meltas. I'll wait. Who can do all the things these sisters do. And they're going to get reroll hits and wounds of 1. And so, like, this Knight Despoiler has to contend with, okay, let's roll this to prove a point. And how disgusting this is. Again, for effectively about 500-point army. For 25 PL. For Crusade. Okay, so that's 2 multi-melta for a single model. Now, 4 models in each group have it. Okay. And he's definitely not going to be in half range, so we won't count the bonus. He could have dense, but let's going to assume he doesn't. Because if we assume he has dense, we can assume that we counter it from we counter being shot because of obscuring. Alright, reroll this. Okay. And then we're going to wound him on a 4-up. Okay, that was obviously a little unbalanced. So instead of rolling it again, let me just change things to where it's actually balanced. There's not really room for argument. And I'll actually put it in the favor of losing an extra dice. So the average, perfectly averaged, and then they'll rotate for 4-up. Okay. So again, this may not outright kill it. It could potentially. But again, this is his entire army. Okay, and command reroll. Okay. 3, 6, 9, 11, 16. All right. Let's say next turn we'll just chomp it down by 5. He kills one of these or some stuff. Hell, we can even say he kills 2. That would make another 5. But I never shot with the uh, superior, which will also have Melta, or a combi Melta, or Plasma. And then I still have the Palatine and Canoness rolling up on this bad boy and getting lookout sir the entire time. And then this army doesn't have to worry about secondaries. And okay, this is a meme thing. It's not actual. Okay, but again, any other army that's just 500 points, like there, who do you think is gonna win? Like the girls will destroy this. 500 points. I think this is over 500, honestly. The girls will destroy this. Like that amount of Melta is disgusting in Crusade. Literally, the 2 strongest 500 point things / Crusades I can think of are Thousand Suns, soon to include Tyranids as well, or currently I guess Tyranids as well for Zoanthrope spam. I like 3 3-man groups of Zoanthropes and a Neurothrope if you can, PL wise, afford it. I think you still will have extra points laying around, but like that will be disgusting. Thousand Suns for their sorcerers, maybe 1 Terminator squad, maybe not even, and then the girls for retributers. Like, ew, ew. And I think this will cost all of the 25, but if you still somehow had points, or you do a 1,000 point like 50 PL game, just run a thing of Dominion as well. So you can get like 6 mortal wounds every round from all their bolters. You may not get 6, but you probably will. I've seen it go down to 2. I've seen 0. I've seen 12. It's been all over the place for their amount of mortals they can get with 6s. 12 is insanely lucky. Oh my god. Those 3 armies of Crusade are just so nutty. And this is all 40k. 30k is cool. I like fantasy as well. I've played other tabletop RPGs. I've run Dungeons and Dragons. I'm in Pathfinder right now. I'm involved in a lot of comics and other stuff, and I talk to people in multiple parts of different industries. But mostly, I'm a simple hobbyer. I don't try to get too involved in that stuff. I made most of these in the first 2 months, and I've played with damn near all of them. I think I played with 90%. Like I haven't played the Black Templar. I have literally played all of this. I have not played the Storm Surge, but I have played everything else except the Craft World as well and the Tyranids because that's a programming issue, and the other one isn't even out yet for Battlescribe. I haven't played the Bellicor yet, but I have played all of these. So yeah, I have learned every single one of these armies, and I've played them in some regard. So I think I know to a degree what I'm talking about. I definitely still make mistakes. There's a lot of rules. I'm pretty good. I make less rule foul-ups in regards to playing them correctly, as much as I just miss something, and it's like, okay, at the end of my command phase, and then I do something at the start of my movement phase, I'm like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to do that. But none of them would have changed how the game would play. It's just me being forgetful, usually because I'm tired or sick or some combination thereof. But yeah, feel free to hit me up for any questions, comments, if you want to play Tabletop Simulator, if you want me to review your army. And at the end of the day, regardless of efficiency, there is the real world cost if you play in actual tournaments for models, acquiring, purchasing, building, painting, etc. And then there's enjoyment / efficiency for winning. If you don't care about winning, or it's not as important as having a great time, build whatever the fuck you want. Have a blast. You could still have fun and win, but if you're more so there to have fun, then build your army however you want. Make it a narrative crusade force that you can play outside of crusade, and it may not do very good, but you're still gonna have a good time. A lot of these armies I may not play because I feel like they're too oppressive or I don't have fun. Like Old Custodes and the Imperial Guard are what I played most. I tried a lot of Necron, didn't do good. Tyranids didn't interest me, and a lot of these things. I thought the Hive Guard is overpowered. A lot of the demons didn't interest me because of issues. Some stuff like the Corn Berserkers are entertaining. It just doesn't really happen. And some stuff is overtuned. I know one Kson player who's very good. I've had some begrudgments with him, but he's a very good Ksons player. Um, and I think maybe they have a bit too much. I don't know. I don't know. This is right now something that's annoying me is in my top 10 list. All of the trans armies are basically there. All of the heavy mortal armies are there. And an army like Sisters is basically like number 10. I think number 9 or number 10 because they're so balanced. But they could still get wrecked compared to all those mortal wounds they're going to take. And they can't necessarily punch through all that trans. And it's just a big issue for a lot of armies. Because I feel like Sisters almost is the new bar compared to Ultramarine Space Marines. I'm a little unsure because baseline Space Marines just aren't good compared to all these other armies. Like they're just not the bar anymore. They're still a good bar for measuring, but the three big issues are God, is it 4 now? Trans becoming more and more of a thing, which leads into I'll tie that into Storm Shields. The Storm Shields are 4-up invul, +1 save, usually on stuff that's 2 to 3 save characteristic, and then it can still sit on light cover and possibly get other bonuses from either litanies or psychic. And that's not even including feel no pains. It's too much. It's too oppressive. And the thing is it's easier to trade neutral or below than it is to trade up when it comes to dealing damage. So you are then it feels like you're lich pinned into building Melta, be it in close range or range. Strength 8, AP -4, 3 to 4 to overcome things. And if you're doing that, then you have Melta spam, which you can counter with Horde, but there's so many shots and stuff that usually Horde's not going to win or be able to punch through the Melta spam. And those two things aside, you can just play Mortal Wound spam. And, you know, Mortal Wound can just trump everything. It's just Mortal Wound stuff may not necessarily survive the onslaught of damage coming their way, be it close range or long range with all the trans shit, as long as that stuff gets into combat. If they can't get into combat and whatever they're proficient with for fighting the things with the Mortal Wound spam, be it Grey Knights, K-Suns, and upcoming Tyranids, or current Tyranids I should say, that's a big issue. And especially when you stack these things. The Tyranids having almost army-wide 4-up to 5-up invul, trans, and they spam Mortal Wounds. Darkwing Duck. Deathwing Dark Angels. Trans with 4-up invul, and mostly they're going to save everything on 2s. And they come with a feel, the Apothecaries are going to give them a feel no pain. Like, you. If you have a bunch of Space Marines and they're named and they're your Crusade force, they're gonna get dumpstered by this stuff. It's a huge issue. And if like the counter is you build very, very niche, very staple to fight that one army, then if you go into a tournament setting, everything else will beat you. And the thing is the meta is split between those 3 to 4 ways. And so you can't even build a counter meta army because there's more than one meta. And I don't know, it's just I love the game. I love the lore. Not so much most of the video games. Dark Crusade is pretty cool. I wish there was a better version of Only War that wasn't the D100 system. I do not like the D100 system, and a lot of other stuff in Only War, and some of the other RPGs. But I feel like GW needs to give some more love because I don't know the $150 rule books. If I wanted to build all these armies real life, I don't even know if $10,000 would cover it. This would be over 5K, closer to probably 10K. Um, versus this is just a bunch of hours of me on Battlescribe, Yellowscribe slash Tabletop Simulator building these armies, having fun. Uh, Maybe it's to prevent burnout, but I don't know. Just being able to create your own plastic models. I don't see a reason to join ITCs when there is that much of a gatekeeping system with it for the system in place of cash, and because of changing metas, because of updates on power creep, it initially just I don't see an argument to say that it's not a system of just for them to make money, because it's like, well, they have to make money. It's company, but I feel like there's better ways. Hopefully, Hammer and Bolter gets better animations, good storytelling. For a decent amount of the animations are pretty. There's fan animators, not even for Warhammer, just all kinds of stuff that do better animations than their official paid people. I don't know what the hell that's all about. Uh, but yeah, I think if people want a strong army right now, uh, Harlequins, Custodes, and Tyranids are big three. Just play one of those. Uh, and then there's Tau as well. But when the big update changes come out, the one of those that will not get changed probably will be Tyranids. So you can just stick with that. And I'm by Tyranids I mean this one. Where you're gonna have 3 Maliceptors, 2 Exocrines, three-man, 3 squads of Zoanthropes, and then either a Tyranid, Hive Lord, and Neurothrope, or a Swarm Lord. 3 things of warriors to just be annoying, soak damage, do secondaries, and then whatever you can fill points in otherwise, and just laugh at mortal wounds and all your invols and trans and stuff. It's gonna be stupid. Uh, and if something that's nice about playing not being a one-trick pony is a couple things. One, when it's your time to shine in the spotlight for having really good efficiency because of power creep, cool. But it's still gonna be annoying. Your friends may not want to play you, but then you can't get games if your army's overtuned. But also, you can't really complain when someone builds a list that's against you, because it's the only thing you play, and so it's kind of predictable. So you're not even really tailoring your. I don't count as tailoring if you're like, I play 3 people and they only ever run those particular lists. Like, it's kind of bad manners. But hey, how about you play something fucking different? And if you don't, then what reason do you have to complain? And most of these complaints I'm even saying, not even half of them are even like founded in any like experience. It's just that like stuff I've heard. Anyone who wants to get into the hobby for fantasy, be it Warhammer Fantasy, pre Age of Sigmar, 30K, 40K, tons of great lore, a lot of audiobooks. Most of them are decent. Some are pretty good. There's a lot of older stuff as well. The RPGs are hit or miss. They're very narrative based and very RP heavy. While of course there's combat, but they're insanely RP heavy compared to other RPG systems. Um, and I say definitely just find a system with graphic artwork. A faction with graphic art slash lore you really love the most, and just dive into that. Make it some awesome armies. Get some games in. Start with a 500, then lean yourself into a 1,000, and then a 2,000. I'd say before even 2,000, do a 2v2 1K. Meet some more people, expand your knowledge base, your contacts, try a bunch of things, and you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose a lot of games. But the more time you spend theory crafting and building armies, I guarantee you'll do better. Uh, I have just changed some armies so many times. I'll spend hours just improving, tweaking, and I meet some people. Some people I chill and game with that just don't do that, and then their army is very efficient, and then they get mad when they lose, and it's like, well, take the time. And it's not like they necessarily need to take a lot of time out of their day because it takes time. There's a lot of other people that build lists online that are open to the community, like myself. So just reach out and talk. There's a lot of Discord groups, forums, etc. Um, and I can just talk for hours. I have another video that's like 6 or 7 hours long, which is me just rambling while playing Ark about Warhammer. When I went back and re-listened to it, I got so much stuff wrong about the lore. Uh, but you know, I'm having a blast. So feel free to stop by, chat, even down to game sometime. Do realize that for 2,000 points, it's between like 2 to 5 hours when you play, for how long a game is. But without further rambling, I'll bid you adieu, and you can expect more content in the near future for Xenos armies after the Data Slate FAQ comes out. That's going to affect a couple armies, because then I shouldn't have anything that'll get changed for these armies until Knights, which still hopefully won't affect any of these things unless anything's overtuned and gets another nerf or buff, like just thrown in there. It'll just be Imperium and Chaos stuff. And hopefully squats are coming out, so that'll be a thing as well. Looking forward to that. Take care, everyone. Sleep well. Hope to see you in the future.